What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're talking Springbok rugby, who has been labelled as cowards after the massive victory that Argentina got over the All Blacks this past weekend in the Tri-Nations round 3, making history by beating the All Blacks for the very first time. And not only that, they haven't played rugby in over a year, and yet their first proper game back, they go and beat the All Blacks. People have been silenced, critics have been hammered. We've seen it all throughout the media this past few weeks, the past few days actually. It has just been hectic, and now South Africa are getting knocked. Why? Because we decided to withdraw from this year's Rugby Championship, therefore turning it into the Tri-Nations. And the talk was South Africa pulled out due to player welfare. We were worried. We just didn't have enough game time. We had 1.5 weeks of competitive Super Rugby action, and therefore Rassie, the director, and obviously Jacques decided, right, we're keeping the boys there. They had rules in place that they needed to play a certain amount of games and all that jazz, and it just wasn't enough for the players. We've also seen injuries from the stars, but a lot of people have backlash, like, why didn't we use our overseas Springbok players? Why not take a risk and send a junior team over? You did it before last year, why not do it again? Are we that scared of losing the #1 world ranking and all that jazz? Because obviously we've been in the news over the past weeks how we got ahead of the All Blacks after their loss to Australia. And now obviously England are #2 in the world, All Blacks going to 3, South Africa remain quite solidly at the top. However, if South Africa had participated in the Rugby Championship, and maybe it would have lost to the All Blacks, even Argentina, even Australia, South Africa definitely would have lost the #1 position. And a lot of people they're howling with South Africa because we just haven't gone and fought and defended the Rugby Championship title. We just now known as cowards. My take on it, because a lot of people are asking, obviously I wanted us to go to the Rugby Championship. I wanted to see the tournament go ahead. I wanted to see the All Blacks face South Africa. I wanted to see Argentina face South Africa, and I wanted to see Australia take it up. I gave a few recommendations of sending over the young Springbok team. We've got talent, we've got players in the bank, we've got guys who could achieve greatness and put themselves on the map. I mean, let's go back to 2019 where Rassie Erasmus sent a young Springbok team to take on Argentina and Australia, who the Springboks actually beat, which formed the career of Herschel Yankees, who turned into a phenomenal sensation, and many other players. It gave them the opportunity and the experience to learn what it's like to play against Australia and Argentina. Then when we went to New Zealand, our big boys were already there, but we had to make a few changes and introduce these youngsters in so that they could get the opportunity. And therefore the Springboks continued a phenomenal year that was 2019. I believe we could have done the same. I understand injuries, I understand the complications that are in place. We could have got massive injuries, careers could have been destroyed and all that. But let's look back at Argentina, because Argentina were in the exact same boat. They haven't played rugby in over a year, but yet they go and beat the All Blacks, which is an unbelievable achievement. So I can understand where the frustration is coming from, why we didn't do it. But at the end of the day, whining about it, complaining about it, it's just not going to change it. What we see is what we see. What could have been, could have happened, but it's not going to happen. We got to move on and move forward. I'm just as frustrated, especially, and I said it, if you were with me in the stream, I said it a few times, South Africa could have done the same thing. South Africa could have gone and defended their title. Or South Africa could have gone overseas and lost to Argentina, and more history would have been made. And credit to Argentina. Let's take nothing away from this team and give everything but credit to Argentina for what they achieved this past weekend. They made history. But let's not forget the past and the history of the success that the All Blacks have achieved by being world #1 from 2009 to 2019. No one's ever going to be able to do that unless we continue to see dominance, because we've already seen changes and things happening. So we've got to still give credit and respect, because there's a lot of people that are just downgrading and going harsh on the All Blacks, but we've just forgotten what they achieved in the past decade of rugby just last year. So it's a whole lot of negativity in the air, and rightly so. People are just going for the All Blacks. They're going for a lot of the media. People who have said, is it John Cohen who said that the Argentina's got no hope in hell of beating the All Blacks, and look what happened. Now, obviously, media is going at South Africa for not being a part of the Rugby Championship. I agree. We could have been there, and we should have been there. We could have achieved something phenomenal. We could have seen a Rugby Championship compete, because I mean, Argentina had COVID-19, a few of their players. They recovered, and now they're playing. South Africa playing Super Rugby Unlocked, and I believe there's talent within South Africa who could have gone overseas, who could have fielded a South African team in South Africa that for me could have been competitive enough and good enough to put competition to the line of Argentina, Australia and New Zealand. They could have done it. We've seen it. We've got still World Cup stars that are here. But also, we should have also fought with the guys over in Europe and said to the Premiership League and the Pro 14 leagues, release our players, give them to us. Faf de Klerk's there. All the big names are there. So why not use that opportunity? Why not battle overseas to get these guys there and meet them halfway and quarantine? Let's also not forget, and I'm not trying to make excuses because I'm going to go back to South Africa's decision. I mean, we would have been in quarantine, but we were still going to be allowed to train as a unit. We still could have got the training going and made progress going forward. So we can argue about this all day. We can agree, we can disagree, but the fact of the matter is South Africa isn't in the Rugby Championship. Let's not focus on this Tri-Nations that is going to mark history. I mean, Argentina beat the All Blacks. Argentina have an opportunity to beat the Australians this weekend and make even more history by winning the Tri-Nations for the very first time, and will be well deserved if they can achieve that. But there's a long way to go. They're still going to play New Zealand one more, and they're still going to play Australia. But you give credit where credit is due, and they beat the All Blacks fair and square. But also, like I said, let's just be respectful to New Zealand and to even Australia. I mean, Australia were in a tough situation, record defeat by the All Blacks, and then they managed to come back and beat them. That is phenomenal. So there's a lot of goods, there's a lot of positives, and there's obviously a lot of negatives, because, you know, we got to get into the negative media, because unfortunately people seem to find that a little bit more interesting. But you know what? I'm behind my team for the decision that they've made to go on that call, because there were obviously people who defend the call. I do defend it. Like I said, I'm 50-50. A part of me is happy that we stayed here, but I'm also now worried because our next competitive tournament is going to be against the Lions, the British and Irish Lions. I know we've actually got Argentina apparently confirmed, and a Barbarians game if I'm not mistaken, but we could have had a great opportunity to have played competitive rugby in the South, given an opportunity to these guys and have done something different, but it's not the case. What will be will be. Now we have to move on and focus on the tournament. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but South Africa are being nailed in the media for being cowards. But you know what? At the end of the day, these things happen. Move on, move forward, focus on the rugby, the Tri-Nations. Who can win it? Who can see it? South Africa, you're going to have to wait till next year, and they will be number one by the end of this year, especially now after that massive result over the weekend. Congratulations to England for moving up as well. That is phenomenal, but I'll dedicate a video to the World Rugby Rankings in the next one coming up. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all real soon for another one. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.